Hello everyone. Today my group which is consists of Arjun Pooran and myself Nishita Persaud will be presenting a concept map on the layer of the Earth's surface. So I'll now get into our concept map and I'll explain each part of this map to you. So today's lesson will focus on the layer of the Earth, which will describe how the Earth is structured from the surface to the center. Now, do you know that scientists actually divide the Earth into layers for us to better understand its composition, the behavior, and the process that shapes the Earth's surface? Now, these layers may differ in thickness, composition, physical properties, and they help us to explain the natural phenomena such as earthquakes and volcanoes. Now, let's get into our concept map. Firstly, we have what is the earth layer. Now, the earth layer can be classified into the chemical composition, which is known as a layer, which include the crust, mantle, core, and this is whereby our first box, which is highlighted yellow, look at these three. Now, each of the layer have different chemical makeup, which affect the density, temperature, and behavior. This classification helps scientists to understand what material make up the Earth of different depths. Then we move on to the second one, which is the crust. This is the outermost layer of the Earth and forms the Earth's surface. This includes continents and ocean floor. Now the crust is mainly composed of oxygen, silicon, and aluminum. This layer is where we as a human actually live and occupy, and where surface process such as erosion and weathering occur. Now we move on to the mantle. This lies directly beneath the crust and it contains high amounts of iron and magnesium compared to the crust. Although the mantle is solid, part of it can flow slowly due to high temperature and pressure. Movement within the mantle is responsible for tectonic activities such as earthquake and volcano eruption. We'll get to this very shortly. Now we move on to the core. This is the innermost layer of the earth and it's mostly made up of iron and nickel. This is extremely hot and is divided into two parts, the outer core and the inner core. The core play a major role in generating the Earth's magnetic field. Then we move on to the second section of the concept map, which is highlighted blue, and it's the mechanical layer. Now, this classifies the Earth based on physical property rather than composition. This layer explains how Earth material behave under heat and pressure. The main mechanism layer include the lithosphere, the astrosphere, the mesosphere, the outer core, and the inner core. Now, the lithosphere, it's about 100 kilometers thick and it includes the crust and the uppermost part of the mantle. It is rich and broken into tectonic plates. These plates move slowly over the astrosphere, leading to earthquakes, mountain building, and volcano activity. Then we look at the second one, the astrosphere. This lies between the lithosphere and is roughly 140 kilometers thick. It is a plastic layer of the mantle that can flow slowly but it's not liquid. This layer allows tectonic plates to move above it. Then we have our mesosphere. Now our mesosphere is made up of the lower mantle and is extend up to 2,900 kilometers thick. It is more rich than the astrosphere due to the increased pressure between the pressure and the temperature and the higher it is. Now we look at the outer core. It's a liquid layer that's about 2,200 kilometers thick and it's only liquid layer of the Earth's surface. Now the movement of molten iron and nickel in the outer core generates the Earth's magnetic field. Then we move to the inner core. Now this is about 1,250 kilometers thick and it's solid due to the intense pressure. Despite extreme high temperature, it is composed mainly of iron and nickel. Now we look at the last section. This is on your left hand side, the geographical processes. Now the geographical processes mainly occur in the Earth's crust and the upper mantle. Earthquake results from the movement of tectonic plates in the lithosphere. Volcano eruption occur when magma rises from the mantle to the surface. Then we have erosion, which is a surface process that wears away rocks and soil over the period of time. Now, all these processes link between inter-earth layer and surface feature. My colleague will continue our presentation.
Hi, my name is Arjun Pooran, so I'm going to look at the practical classroom activities supporting the team. So here we have the concept map construction, and then we have the diagram labeling activity. We have students create their own earth layer concept map and label compositional and mechanical layers. So basically, um, here in these activities, the student is actually going to learn what the art is made up of. For example, the crust, which is like the thin outer layer, they're going to depict or they're going to know what the art crust is made up of. They're going to look at certain things like the mantle and like the core, the center of the art. They're going to know how the art moves and so forth. Moving on to the next slide. They're going to have group discussion, visual analysis, and think peer share. So students can take part in a group discussion focus on how the movement within the mantle lead to earthquake and how the mantle movement causes volcanoes, and they can recap on the scientific concept on how these things happen, on how the cycle keeps happening and so forth. They will learn how the earthquakes happen, what happen when plates move, um, when the plates move, how what earthquake and volcano does, um, which plate slides, how they collide, how they pull apart, how they get stuck, and so forth. Then we're going to look at the benefit and limitation of curriculum integration. So here we have about 4 benefits, and then we have the about 4 limitation as well. So curriculum integration has many advantages because it helps students connect ideas from different subjects. They can understand topics more deeply and they use what they learn to solve real life problem and situation, which makes the learning more interesting and meaningful. They also faces challenges, um, and they tends to require extra planning. The teachers needed extra time for planning when the subject matter tends to become very difficult and when students are weak in certain areas. So yes, thank you very much.